Today I'm going to be talking about how to approach providers for your medical billing business. And I want to thank Kimberly for requesting this video. Thank you very much. Thank you for your comments and watching my videos. And I decided to do this particular video not only because she requested it, but also because I think this is a good time of the year to talk about this. We're in January of 2025, and whether you are a new medical billing business or you are an established medical billing business, January is usually when you set goals to get more providers, to get your first provider. And this video talking about how to approach providers would make a good one right now, this time of year. If you don't already know me, my name is Tamika. I'm a certified professional biller, a certified practice manager. I have a small medical billing business while I'm working full time. Now that is a mouthful, but I'm telling you all of that because I think it kind of plays a role in how I approach providers. Now, I don't have a lot of providers. I have 3 providers, and for right now, that's good for me. Even if I didn't work a full-time job, I probably would only have about, 5, 6 maybe providers, because I am not a big conglomerate of a medical billing business, and I don't want to be. So the approach that I may use compared to the approach that someone else may use will be different. So keep that in mind. Also, I only bill for small medical practices. So that is also something to keep in mind as well. But let's jump into this. Now, one of the ways that I would approach a provider for my small medical billing business is to just have some small talk. Now, this for me would be in the setting of maybe a networking event, or if I learn about a provider, maybe through family or friends, someone else, and I decide to go into their office. I don't do that much because I kind of feel like a provider doesn't really come out and talk to you. Now, I've worked for several providers, and I know that when people want to come and talk to the provider, they have to get through the office manager, the business manager, the front desk, someone. The provider just doesn't come out because a person wants to speak to them. So I don't do much just walking in and cold calling. But if I am in an event or I see a provider out, I do a lot of billing for the local providers where I live, and so I may see a provider out here and there, and I just kind of give a little small talk. Depending on the setting that we are in, what we're talking about, I might talk about, so how's your billing going? And, how's the office going? Little things that can prompt the conversation of billing. Try to find out if they're happy with their billing or if they're not happy with their billing. Now, sometimes you will speak to a provider and they are very happy with the person that is doing their billing. They don't want to change. They don't have it in their mind to change. And in that situation, I'm not trying to change your mind for you. If you are happy with your biller, then you should stay with your biller. But they can always keep me in mind because you never know what's going to happen. Your biller could retire or quit or whatever can happen. And you will still have me in mind because we spoke. There's something called a like, know, and trust factor. I didn't make that up, but I totally believe that providers either have to like, know, or trust you in order for you to do their billing. So in that small talk when we're talking, I think that's where the liking comes into play. And I think it can help you when it comes to approaching the providers. Now, the second thing that I would do to, approach a provider in a way is I would help them fix issues that they have and don't charge them. It just, if they have a question, if they know I'm a biller and they have a question, I'll just answer the question. You don't have to charge for everything. You can show a provider how to do something in its entirety, and they still hire you because they don't want to do it. Everything that we learn as billers, people can learn. It's out there. It's on the internet. You can go to school. People can learn it. So it's not about hiding what you know. You can help a provider fix a problem and think to yourself, oh, well, they fixed that problem, so now they're not going to want me to do their billing. But that, for the most part, can be totally untrue. You may have helped them fix it. You may have told them step by step how to fix it. And then they still turn around and say, can you do my billing? Because that's not what they went to school for, and they don't want to do the billing. So I always help providers out. When I see providers have issues, whether that's an issue that, I've heard about through the grapevine, and maybe I want to, help that provider in that way. Also on like Facebook forums and stuff like that, providers ask questions, just answer the question. Even though it may not seem like they're looking who's, answering these questions, or, they might say, well, there's tons of people answering this question, they're not looking at me, but you never know who's looking at you, and they might just DM you on the back end. And then of course, one of the ways that I may approach a provider is if I see an ad. So if I look in the paper or, wherever online, and I notice that a provider is looking for a medical biller and I'm interested, then I would email them. If they say email them, call them on the phone. However they say they want to be contacted, then I would approach them in that way. When I'm approaching them that way, it's kind of a little bit different because they are looking for somebody. You know that they're looking for somebody to do the billing. Then I would specifically speak about billing for a particular specialty, or, dealing with certain payers or whatever it is, because they now are specifically looking for that. I would do it a little bit differently though, as far as just saying, I'm a biller, I have 20 years of experience, I have this certification, that certification, da 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 da. Again, I don't like those type of things. That may work for others, but I don't like that type of thing. So I would probably say something in my cover letter, because I still do cover letters. I may do something like, I noticed that you are looking for a biller, and I would have done some research on the specialty if I don't already know the specialty. So I would say, I noticed that you're an OBGYN, and I've been billing for OBGYN for years. I know that billing for them can be difficult when it comes to blah, blah, blah. And I then would kind of make it, again, like I said, just casual. I don't like when I see billers put up, I can increase your revenue 20%, and I can. How do you know that? If you know nothing about the provider, you don't know if the provider is doing the best job and they're collecting 100% of their claims. You don't know that. So you can't, or you shouldn't, make those type of claims and you don't know what the situation is. So I don't ever do that. I just kind of speak from a place of, how I can be of assistance to you, knowing the struggle, having a knowing what goes on in billing, how to deal with it if there's a problem, all of those things. I just kind of get it from that angle. So I don't like to just go towards, I know how to do this, I know how to do that, I can make you, because again, you don't know until you know. And also a good approach to talking or approaching providers is just making them aware of your services. Not trying to sell them, not trying to hone them that, oh, you have a biller, but I can be a better biller. And I again, don't work like that. I will just let them know my services. In speaking to them, in speaking to their staff, in speaking to, anyone in particular, not necessarily even a provider, I would just let people know about my services. Sometimes I get questions, they'll see me in scrubs and someone might say, what do you do for a living? And I say, oh, I'm a medical biller and I do credentialing, I do billing services, I do blah, blah, blah. And I just lay it out there. Just let them know. Give them the opportunity to say, well, maybe we should set up a consultation, or let's do this, let's do that. Again, I just don't like to sell and I don't do it. So it has worked for me so far, and I will probably continue to do it this way because it hasn't steered me wrong so far. And if you have more questions about how to deal with your medical billing clients, you can always schedule a remote one-on-one with me. I have 45 minutes and 90-minute sessions, and I'll be sure to link a video or two above so that it can help you decide maybe even what type of provider that you want, because not all providers will be for you depending on what your goal is in your medical billing business. And I'll see you again in my next one.